Oh no. I I said so many cool things that none of you all heard. You wouldn't believe it. Um anyways, sorry for the delay, guys. I got a lot of colors and I waited way too long to start putting tips on them. So as you can see, I'm gonna turn the TV here so I can see it a little better. All right. I did indeed shave. I got bored and decided to shave off the old mustache. Haven't seen my upper lip in years, so this is see, I guess 2013. Yeah, the year I went to Bonnaroo. It was the last time I didn't have a mustache at the very least. So, all right. So how's everybody doing? All right, so I'm not sure to say so. Hi Maya, hi Jeremy, hi Cassie, and everyone else that's joining us this evening. Just getting all my stuff together here. My colors are not sorted, but anyone who's unfamiliar with this stream, this is Joy of Pancakes. So basically, we're just gonna hang out, have a chill time, and I'm gonna make a couple really detailed pancakes, and just hang out and talk with y'all while I do it. So I don't know if you notice the title, a nice little pun, fruit by the flip. So if that didn't clue you in, this one is, thanks Maya. This one's a fruit, gonna be fruit themed. I don't know why I decided that. I just kind of just trying to think of stuff, and that just popped in my head. So we're gonna just go with it. And so I've got a few ideas in mind. Nothing. The ideas are somewhat concrete, but how I'm going to execute them is not, because I don't have I'm not copying anything. I'm using references just for lighting references and stuff like that, and just make sure I get all the pieces of whatever object I'm drawing where it's supposed to go. But otherwise, these will both be totally original pieces. So that's organized enough. That's in the ballpark. Bearded dragon. Yeah. If I got two that I want to make, but I don't think they're going to be particularly. And they're complicated, but they're not super complicated. And it's not gonna be like last week where I'm gonna go 4.5 hours. I was a little more careful in my choices this time around. So we can definitely, assuming these take as long as I think they're gonna take, I think we can squeeze a bearded dragon in there at the end. And if you have a picture of that particular, if you have a picture, you could send that to request@dancakes.com, and that'll pop on my phone here or on this tablet actually, and I can have a picture of your bearded dragon instead of just a bearded dragon. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sorry. It's never any fun to lose a pet. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started here on this first one that I got. So this first one is actually this very interesting image that I found. I know I definitely have the times that I've had to do it. It's never a fun experience. So I'm gonna switch to the overhead here. So I found this really interesting image of a tomato that had rotted on the vine, and it basically just liquefied inside the skin, but the skin just kind of turned into this weird sack. And I thought that was really interesting. It almost doesn't look real. It almost just looks like marinara sauce in a sandwich bag. But I thought that was an interesting. I don't know. I just don't want to just draw fruit. And so I saw that, and I thought that would be an interesting approach to drawing fruit. It's an apt metaphor for staying somewhere longer than you need to. Oh, that's really. I'm sorry you're going through that, Cassie. That's. I don't think we're doing a Halloween stream tomorrow. We didn't really discuss it, and so we didn't really plan anything. So I think we're gonna be doing the Sunday stream, but I don't think we're gonna be doing a Halloween stream. I think it would have been a good idea, but I've been here since, geez, when did I get here? I got here at 7 this morning, because we had a private live stream this morning, and so I've just been here all day. And then I did some commissions, and yeah, so I think we're just feeling kind of swamped. It's been a busy week, which is a good thing, because we definitely had plenty of not busy weeks for a while there. Oh, thank you. I'm not too worried about it though. I'm used to working long hours. Like, the reality is this is sort of nothing compared to what I'm used to. Whenever I was still doing telecom work, if I worked 50 hours in a week, that felt like I barely worked at all. So my body has been trained for crazy long hours. And I will go home and sleep like a baby tonight. So. Let that dry for a minute there. One of the interesting things about this photo here is you have this tomato that's obviously been on the vine for far too long. Right next to it, there's this perfect, like, still orange tomato. It's not even ready to pick yet. It's I guess the yin and the yang of the tomato plant. I want to add that in there because I think that would make for interesting little side by side. So, I'm doing a fruit theme on this one, but me being me, I don't want to just draw pictures of fruit. So I found this really interesting photograph of a tomato that had been on the vine too long, and there you go, yeah, and it had essentially just liquefied inside of itself and was still hanging on the vine right next to, a bunch of still, orange tomatoes that hadn't even ripened all the way. And I thought that was kind of an interesting, could be, it could be it could be a metaphor, it could be anything, or it could just be an interesting photo. And I wanted to take a crack at that. And then I've got another one in mind that's also fruit themed as well. And then, but seeing as they're fruit and they're sort of much less particular as far as shapes and things, that's what I was saying. I think we'll definitely have time to squeeze in a bearded dragon at the end here, because there's not they don't have to be nearly as perfect. There's not as many, it's fruit. There are a lot of random and sort of random shapes and things that aren't as I don't have to get them just like the photo or it's not going to look right, because tomatoes come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and branches going all sorts of directions. So I can be a little free with how I do it. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do this week, because I don't like repeating myself. I did a couple of my photographs last week, and that's definitely something I want to do more of. But I didn't have time to pick something out, because most of the photographs that I have taken wouldn't necessarily lend themselves to pancake art, or they would be extremely complicated like the one I did last week, or it took me, 3 hours, 3.5 hours to do. And so just kind of mused on it for a little while, and this is what I came up with. It can take, that's honestly, other than actually making the pancakes themselves, that's the most time-consuming part, is the prep work. Luckily for me, though, Dan did a bunch of pancakes yesterday, and some bunch of commissions, and so he had a lot of these colors already made. And then we had a private live stream this morning, so I had made up colors for that because Dan was teaching a class, and I was doing requests next to him, and so I had to make up colors for that. And so I just used those colors because I had big bottles of those colors, and I used those to mix together to make the palette for this. So like this is like I guess is vermilion. The yellow orange. So I literally just took a yellow and an orange that I had already made, and just from a bigger bottle and half into a smaller bottle, and shook it up, and I had my vermilion, my tertiary colors. So this particular stream didn't take me very much time at all, but if I had done all these from scratch, probably an hour would be a good place to start. You don't necessarily have to cook them as you go. So, Dan and I we all have slightly different techniques, and the way that I tend to approach these more detailed pancakes is I'll actually, I put down, for the most part, I put down a really, really thin line work, and so it happened like it'll dry on its own just because it's mostly water, and so as they dry, they'll actually basically they'll sort of set themselves, whereas like Dan and Dana will actually turn the griddle on occasionally just to sort of set the lines because they put them down a little bit thicker. But I like doing the thin lines because you can get some interesting gradients and things, a lot of times on accident even, that you wouldn't get otherwise, because the lines are so thin that they're actually semi-transparent, and so you can kind of get, sometimes you'll get like almost a watercolor effect out of it. And it's a technique that I've talked about it before on the stream, and it's one of those things where I'm still discovering exactly how it all is going to work together, like doing these really thin lines and stuff, and figuring out exactly how having that sort of transparent-ish batter, what you can do with that. Because every time I think I've got it totally figured out or partially figured out, I'll discover like it doesn't quite act the way I expect it to. And so I'm just sort of slowly making my way through that to figure out just new, interesting ways of doing this stuff. And the lazier part of me likes to do it this way because I can actually, if I don't do a line perfectly right, I can actually go back through it with the tip while it's still wet. When I lay it down that thin, and I can actually even like straighten out a line that might be a little crooked or something like that. It only works to a certain extent, but it's definitely helpful for me. You can get a little more, I guess, sketchy with the actual laying when you're putting down the lines. You don't have to be you don't always have to do like these big swoops and stuff like we have to do a lot of times. But still do those, but there's just a little more room to play. And that's really all I ever look to do. Just what else can I do? And you'll notice yeah, my grandma actually used to own a pet shop, and she sold bearded dragons. I never really, you know, I cleaned the cages and stuff. I don't know if I ever actually interacted with the bearded dragons too much. They never bit me, so they always seemed pretty chill. One point she had a little baby alligator though. That baby alligator was not chill. Because it was an alligator. Favorite pancakes? That's always a hard one to answer. I'm really the last week the candles that I did, I was really happy with those. And that's sort of my current favorite. And then there's I always go to I did St. Patrick Stewart. I did that last year. That was also one that I'm still happy with it. I mean, I think, as I always do, is like I could probably do that better now, but I mean, you know, that's all relative. And I'm not too keen to do it again because I did it once, and like I was saying, I don't like to repeat myself. I'm always thinking about the next thing I can do versus redoing something that I've already done. Oh, thank you, Tessa. I appreciate that. I'm doing what I can with what I have. It's years of practice and failure, and also I haven't. We'll see how much talent I have when I actually finish the pancake. You do these and you hope for the best, but they don't always turn out as you quite like you thought, which is totally fine. Which actually, that's happened on this stream. I made an Eddie Van Halen pancake on my very first one. And yeah, it did not turn out quite like I expected, and I actually ended up redoing it. Which, I mean, our regulars. Oh, it's fine. I started in 20, I met Dan and Hank in 20, geez. It's right before the first two, was it 2012? No, 2014. It's 2014. Man, time is an illusion. I met Dan and Hank in 2014. Like late spring, right before the summer. And then I didn't actually start doing any pancake art because it was not something I was looking to do. I didn't want to do it. It was just, you know, at the time it was just a neat thing my friend did. But I started doing pancake art in the summer of 2015. And yeah, and at this point I would say it's not, I don't, like, at this point I own, like, we're all partners, so I don't work for Dan and Hank. Nobody here in St. Louis at the studio, like, none of us we work with each other. We don't work for. Okay, we're all partners. Which is part of the reason why, honestly, why I'm still here. Because, not because like I put down an ultimatum or anything, but it was just, I had an entirely separate career that was doing just fine before this. So, the fact that Dan and Hank are both they're not greedy men, and like if you bring something to the table, they're more than happy to share the spoils. Which, I mean, it's not like we're not rolling in it, never have been, but nonetheless, it's they got integrity, and I appreciate that, and that's why I stay. That's why I've stayed. Hey, Mikey. Let's see. Okay. That's how we want to do this. Okay. So there's that. Just gonna smooth that out just a little bit there. So I'm gonna let that dry for just a minute here. And then this part up here's got all sorts of interesting colors going on because it's got little red blotches from where the tomatoes, a little bit. The majority of it's almost like a semi-transparent sort of sack. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. So, see if I can do something that makes sense. We drawn pancakes of any storytellers? I mean, we've drawn. I mean, most. I imagine we've drawn pancakes of just about everything at some point. So, I can't think of any off the top of my head. There's a lot of different kinds of storytellers. So like I mean, we've done lots of musicians, and we've done writers, and so comedians. So this we've definitely done storytellers of all sorts. Trying to think of somebody off the top of my head here. Yeah, it's such. See, I mean, my very first pancake actually. Well, one of the first pancakes that was a Mark Maron pancake that I did. He's a storyteller. He's a comedian. Like and telling stories is sort of his job. And it wasn't very good because it was very early on. It was on a music tour that I did with Dan, which is where I started first dabbling in pancake art. So we did a tour where it was just him and I and a Prius full of pancake batter and guitars, just driving around the country, playing music and making pancakes and having weird times. It was a very surreal experience. Okay. because one of the characters. You're talking about something specific? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I totally follow. Dad feels. Okay. I will. Well, I'm not familiar with Dad feels. I'm being 100% honest, but now I want to familiarize myself. Okay. So getting in the ballpark on this one here. I just want to figure out how I want the background of this to look. Because it does have a background in the picture, but I don't necessarily want to use that. I might just go for a very sort of abstract background on it. Just to... Yeah, I like that idea. Okay. I do like space soap operas. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so which is basically a space soap opera. So I'm on board just based off that description alone. If anything, I'm looking for more to watch because I just finished watching the most recent season of the Orville, and that's going to be a bit before there are any new episodes, and Star Trek Discovery is only one episode at a time. So, which highly recommend anybody who's into Star Trek or anything like that. Star Trek Discovery is really good. It's really surprisingly good. And so far, it only keeps getting better every season, so that's nice. Let's see, how do we want to transition into this green here? Just go red. So maybe if we do... Yeah, so what we do. Put this down along the edges here. See what this does. See if this gives us sort of a gradient there. Now we'll come back to that here in a second. Let it dry for a minute. Reacts on Dad's channel. So what is Dad's channel? I'm not familiar with that. Not familiar with a lot of things, so it could be very, very popular, very big. I'm just out of the loop on everything. So there's that. Okay. Okay, so it's like a, okay. Well then, I'm gonna have to check it out. That's top of the list of things to check out. Okay, so here's our, most of our tomato here is done. I'll let that set for a second. I'm gonna figure out how I want to color. It's pretty much just gonna color it in with a couple different shades of orange here. Maybe a little bit of brown, just to give it some more texture, but hopefully not too much. Okay. So the rest of this will get filled in that when it's ready. And then start, just gonna put just a couple leaves on here. We're not gonna get too crazy with the foliage. We just wanna, and honestly, I'm not even sure if this is what tomato leaves look like. Probably getting that wrong. I'm an artist, I'm not a botanist. Okay, there's that. Take off the highlights there. And we'll get pretty close on this one here. Just a few more colors here and there. It's kind of a simple pancake. This is just not, it's not too many objects in it, which tends to be what happens to me mostly. I'll end up making a pancake and maybe nothing in the actual reference or idea is complicated or busy, but there'll be, 30 not busy things in there, and it's just, all that takes time. Okay. Let go. That. And see, because I did yellow on this side, and I'm curious if I put a light brown on the back of this really, really thin yellow that I did, if that will, how that will shine through. It will shine through in an interesting way to create a yellowish brown sort of color mixing with on the fly, on the griddle itself without okay, so fill in this guy, just fill in all the little holes here, little gaps. we'll start working on our other tomato over here, our under-ripened tomato. See how that turns out. And we do actually put a little line of yellow on the back of the, or a little line of white behind the yellow, just to see how that acts. See if we get a little bit of, like, in the center of that yellow, it's a smidge lighter than the rest of it. All right, got that, and then so now we just need to fill in these leaves here, and then we'll put some sort of background-ish thing on here to tie it all together in one way or another. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just make it a circle. Kinda, it feels right. I'm gonna pick something that contrasts with the colors I've used, which I've used a lot of colors, so that's tricky in and of itself. Use a lot of blues, use some. I think probably like an indigo is probably going to be our best bet here. Or actually, thinking about it, I used almost no black on this whatsoever, so it's almost it's not really any line work at all, so to speak. So more like an oval. So yeah, this is what I was talking about, where you can sort of drag through. I may have to probably take a Q-tip to some of this and pick up some of that excess batter. But otherwise, you kind of smooth out your edges there a little bit. Oops, no, not like that. But we can just give it a really thick black border. That could be pretty interesting. And I'm not actually putting any batter down when I do this. I'm just dragging the excess to just kind of pulling out what I've already put down to make this wider. Okay, that's fine. It's got a little bit of roughness to the edges there, but that can be charming in and of itself. So, oh, see you later, Mikey. Thanks for hanging out. All right, so now we got that. What I'm going to do here is sort of, now that I've got the ends, going to sort of extend the branches and stuff into the, so it gives it the appearance of continuing on. Okay. So now we got that part figured out. So I'm gonna fill in these leaves. Step off camera 2 seconds here. All right. Oh, hey Phoenix. All right. So now just gotta figure out how we want what we want to put in the background here, other than just filling it in. So one mistake I don't want to make is to put something down that blends into the contrast of all that and ends up covering up any of that detail. And if I just filled it in with white, or plain batter rather, that would likely happen with some of it, not most of it, but enough of it. So okay. Colors we have. A lot of purples and stuff, so I could probably get away with doing a bit of that. I'm going to borrow some of the geometry from the actual background itself. So there's a road in this picture. Where's it clocked? There we go. There's that, and then some of these darker blues over here, just to So with all this, I don't really, just kind of wing it a little bit. I borrowed some just the basic shapes from the background, but I don't really have a plan. Kind of going for sort of how you would get a out of focus background, like a they call bokeh. Trying to approximate something like that. Sort of like it doesn't really matter what's there because it's not what we're looking at. So we'll see how we do. We'll see what happens. Biggest thing is I don't want to cover up anything I've already done with something similar color-wise. I don't want to lose any contrast that I might have. Okay. So the same. That's a slightly different color. That's probably too close to red. Use it to go. This one keeps clogging up on me. I'm excited to see the final result too. This bottle will stop clogging on me. We can get there a little faster. Okay. And then what I want to do is sort of step down this really dark blue that I've used there. That's that is slightly lighter. So I'm going to go around the edge of this blue here with a slightly lighter blue. And I don't know if this is the right term. I always say graduate it down, meaning just stepping it down to what color is ultimately going to be. And I say it like I know what I'm saying, but there's probably a term for it that I'm not familiar with. We're going to basically just do the same thing again. Just a much lighter blue. I'm just sort of stepping my way to where I think it'll be okay to fill the rest of it with a plain batter. Whether or not this works, this is sort of an experiment. Man, tips are... Somebody did not mix this batter well enough. These bottles I'm using, they have very, very, very fine tips. So if you don't mix the devil out of the batter, it will clog up quite a bit. Okay. So go ahead and turn this griddle on. And we're gonna just fill in these little bits here. Plain batter. I might Yeah, we're just gonna go for whatever it is. That's what it is. Not gonna fret too hard here. Just gonna go over the edge here. All right. I'm gonna let that cook for a little bit, and then I'm gonna start sort of filling in the stuff that I've put down first. Yeah, that's Jeremy. Yeah, that's for yeah, Alexandra. Yeah, we aren't streaming tomorrow. Wish we had thought of something cool to do, but we just didn't have the time to really plan anything for a Halloween stream, and we're also one artist short still. Which Dana will be back later this week. Or I guess next week, actually, not this week, because this week's pretty much over at this point. Yeah, I was mentioning that if you notice a lot of the stuff that I put down first is much flatter, the rest of it. Like, it doesn't rise as much. When it sits like that, it'll rise even less than it's going to already, because the way we prepare this batter, it's already going to make a pretty flat pancake, which is what we want, because if you got a flat pancake, that means you mix the batter extra smooth, which is what you kind of have to do if you want to be able to get them out of these bottles without killing your hands and your wrist. And just put that backing on there, so whenever I flip it, and then if it's good, if I like it, it'll go in a freeze dryer. So having all this extra pancake on the back will help it survive the process of getting freeze dried, because occasionally the pancakes can develop cracks and things from the freeze drying process, which we can actually, since we use a decoupage glue to seal them, you can actually fix a lot of that. You can actually kind of put the pancake back together if anything happens during the freeze drying. But Ink's gotten really good at it, so at this point, it's pretty rare that anything significant happens to the pancake in the process of preserving it. So. All right, we're almost there. Oop, that side. The right side is not as done as the left side, so we'll come back around to that and just... Oops. Yep, got a little stuck on my spatula there. Almost too stuck. I think... Yep, we got some movement there. Oh, we're already on the overhead, but I'm gonna switch to the overhead again just to make sure, because it's got like a 30-second timer. All right, you guys ready? All right, so 3, 2, 1. I like that. Hey, 12:15. It is 7:18. Thank you. I'm happy with that. That's turned out pretty neat. I'm gonna grab a plate for this guy. Where are you at, Phoenix? Obviously you're in Central Time, but that could be a lot of places. Alright. So there's that. There's pancake number 1. And so I made this one earlier. I'll just show this off because it's already on the table. Which everybody should do, but I think that's a given at this point. Alright. So next, another fruit-based one, but entirely different. So this one, I wanted to do like a still life sort of fruit on a table basket sort of thing, but not just sort of just that. I wanted to do something unique with it, or well, maybe not. Someone's probably thought of it before, but at least something different other than just fruit on a table. So that's the basis of it, but there's going to be some other stuff going on in it that's not in the reference, but I will add it as I go. So I'm going to swap out my griddles here. I'm going to take the hot one, set it off to the side, so that way I don't have to wait for it to cool down, and I can just get started. All right. There you go. Beautiful. Nice, cool griddle. Now, since I like to do it with the griddle off so much, the residual heat will actually, some of the other artists prefer the residual heat to a certain extent. If it's too hot, it'll cook too quickly, but on these really long ones, but I really, really prefer just having a totally cool griddle to work with. It just makes life easier for me. Okay. So I can show you the reference I'm working with. Like I said, it's not going to be copying the reference per se. It's just there as a guide. So I have two different ones. So I have this still life here, and I've got this one here. So these are the two references I'm working with to sort of inform me on. It's more like making sure I get the fruit anatomy correct. Which I probably won't do a basket. I think I'm just going to do them on the table. So, okay. So we're going to get started on that one here. You sent the picture? All right, let me check here. Make sure I got it. Indeed I do. Wonderful. Okay. So yeah, so after this one is done, we will we'll get you one of Batman to cap off the stream. I think that'd be a good way to cap off the stream for tonight. All right. So let's get cracking on this one here. Time's a-wasting. If I'm thinking about it, I've never really done so I got to do doing a still life of fruit with like a twist. And it's like, have I even done a still life of fruit before? I don't think I have. I might have. It's hard to remember. Probably a request for one at some point. at an event. Start on the bottom here because I gotta exactly how I want to. I think it should be okay though. It can be a little sloppy. Okay. So, try to figure out the bottom portions of all these fruits. I'm gonna stick in here. put a wing in this a little bit. So I have an idea in my head of what I want to do, but I didn't. A lot of times whenever I have an original idea for something, I might sketch something out beforehand. In this instance I didn't. I just grabbed a couple references to keep the basics of it in my head, and so this is my first attempt at it. Okay, so we got that. And make sure I get all the whoops. In Phoenix. Yeah, sometimes the radio we use, the free to use music or the license free music we use, sometimes the songs are a little, we have it on the chill station, and some of the songs can be a little louder than others. So yeah, you might go for a while and not really hear much, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, there's a song. Okay. So I think that's the basics of what I want to do there, so now I'm gonna go over here to reference and use that for a second to so I know I kept the description decidedly vague, and apologies. It's one of those weird things where I'm not sure. Is like, do I say exactly what it's going to be, or what my plan is, or my idea, or do I spoil the quote unquote surprise, or do I keep it purposefully vague up until it's obvious what I'm doing? Okay. So let's see here. Actually, we'll come back to that part. Top of it later, whenever we're sure where everything's gonna be. So everybody can hear me, right? I know last stream there was like these strange long periods where no one could hear me, and there's no one else here watching the stream, so I have no clue if y'all can hear me. I just assume. Cool. Thanks, Jeremy. So anyone got any cool plans for Halloween? So we talked about the fact that we're not streaming, but I know Hank is he's going to be doing some form of trick-or-treating. They actually got a huge length of a 6-inch PVC pipe that they're just going to run down the driveway, and they're literally just going to hurl the candy down the pipe at any kids that are trick-or-treating, so everybody can keep the appropriate distance apart. Which I think is pretty clever. Yep, we got to figure out ways to make stuff still work. Can't trick or treat like we used to, at least not right now. So improvise, adapt and overcome. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm doing, I don't know if this part's obvious or not, but I'm doing grapes. So we got our regular black grapes, and we got some green ones over here that I'm doing. And get some stems in there. Top color of these indigo. Let's just do blue. Mm-hmm. Right. Knocking stuff over. That just one more piece of fruit here that we're gonna add, and then we're gonna start filling in, start coloring everything. So at that, we're gonna start trying to follow this in. Start doing our shading and all that, and kind of see where all this leads us. If it leads us anywhere interesting, or just ends up being a weird gobbly, busy mess, which is certainly a possibility. Something like this could just be a mess. Maybe hard to pick out the pieces of what's what. But that's a chance we're willing to take. Well, a chance I'm willing to take, at least. This is how you figure stuff out. That's how I figure stuff out. I want to make sure to stick it. It's going over the edge of something. You need to make sure you at least apply that so it doesn't just look like it's flowing over nothing. And once that dries up a little bit, probably do. Let's go over it with white, just to try to really bring out the fact that we're dealing with a liquid that's flowing here. Okay. Thanks, Maya. I'm curious to see how it'll turn out, because I'm definitely just kind of winging it. It's something I've never done before. But I think it'll probably definitely has potential to turn out really cool. And even if it doesn't turn out quite like I want, I imagine I will learn quite a bit from doing this. And that's what I'm going for. It's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do these streams, because for a while Dan was just doing them, and I do all of our website stuff and everything, so I spent a lot of time doing that, and I was not spending a lot of time doing pancakes. And so I wanted to start doing these, so I have to force myself to do pancakes, because I was starting to feel the rust set in, and I wasn't happy about it. And I know, and like in an ideal world, and we're gonna be back to doing events at some point in time in the future. And when that happens, I need to make sure I'm still okay at this. I don't want to go back to doing events and feel like I'm subpar at my job. Okay. So now, make some shadows here for this fruit. It's very dramatic, but I don't want it too dramatic. Actually, there, that's perfect. Stick it. Green on this table. Okay. So, let me get that. We're gonna get back to. Let's see. So I'm gonna work on this pineapple here. So we used. So pineapples have. They got browns and greens and stuff all mixed together with each other. So I'm actually gonna go over these lines here with a darker green. Just try to find them just a little bit more. Definition to the leaves. Here. Okay. Let's sit for a minute. That's not what I wanted to do, but luckily I ended up in a place that I wanted to do that anyways. Actually, that's back in there. Okay. All right, so now that pineapple rest for a minute, and then we're gonna let's go ahead and do these rest of these grapes the rest of the way. So we're gonna use these two to finish them off. So I'm gonna do that. Just and fill the rest of them. This. Hopefully the definition and line work shows up well in these. So I'm playing it kind of close with the contrast. Make sure you don't lose detail because you put too many colors that are close together next to each other. I don't think we're going to have that problem. Okay, so do our other grapes over here. keeps clogging on me. Just gonna... that line right across all the other pepper. Okay. So I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. We're gonna do, got a grapefruit here. So okay. Goes into an orange. Get our peach here. Peach has got all sorts of pretty colors going on. Okay, we got an apple. So, okay. Let's shadow there. Just a little bit of highlight. It's kind of hiding behind the pineapple anyway, so. Okay, so there's that. Trying to see. Here we are here. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in here. Very easy to get lost. Careful. You either miss something or color in something different than I intended to, or any sort of stuff like that. Okay. So there's that. Now we're going to start to fill in our grapes over here. Make sure I... Gotta make sure I use a different color than the rest of it, because it's all moving towards a color. Actually, looks like I have some empty space here that I don't necessarily want. So sort of implies some more grapes in there just to fill in the gaps. All right. Oh. Whew. So now I got that. I'm gonna put just a handful of highlights on these pineapple leaves here. Just those will be ready to fill in here in a second. And then I want to get the center portion of these little pineapple sections. I'm not sure what the technical name for them is. This little part in the middle. Just kind of fill that there, and then fill in the rest once that dries just a smidge. Okay. Let's see. This is a little bit lower than the other side. We can just kind of fake that a little bit. Okay. So we're pretty close here. Just a few more colors to fill in here. And then pretty much have this baby wrapped up. Then we can make Batman. So, let's clock again. Alright. Peach over here. Fill that in. Apple. That's and then fill it in. Once we get to the point where we're just combining everything down here, it's just going to be pure chaos. It won't really matter how I do it, because it's just going to be all these colors mixing together. I'm not sure if anyone's figured out what's happening in this yet, but it's a still life of fruit that is melting. Now, that means, is it wax? Is it what? Or is it just some weird surreal thing? I don't really know. I'll let you decide that one. I don't have an answer. All right, Maya. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you Sunday, hopefully. Okay. So Okay. There's the top part of a pineapple there. And what I want to do here is I want to make sure these shadows actually wouldn't be gray. So I want to put some sort of contrast. This table's wood, so alright. So that's pretty well done. Fill in the rest of our grapes here as best we can. Hope I got it all straight. We shall see. There's definitely a lot of chaos in this particular piece, so we'll see if it translates or if it just stays chaos. Get some of that, apply some wood grain in there. Also want to make sure there's going to be shadows right there, so it's a little bit dark. These edges. Okay. And to let's drop here, so it's just done. Okay, we are almost there. We are at the edge of oblivion here. So we're going to start figuring out this flow here, how it all connects, where it doesn't connect. Where's there? Shins and grins. Okay. And then the red's over here. Do the same thing we do with the rest of it. Just all ends up in the middle here. Stop clogging. Man, bottles are fighting me this time around. Okay. that, then we're going to fill in our pineapple with, yeah, this brown. Maybe that brown feels too dark, but I'm not sure what else we could use. Could just use an orange. An orange color. That'll imply brown. Okay. So here's all that. And then the thing I want to do is sort of shadow on the wall here, behind it, under the table. See how that works, if it works. Then, pretty much there, I'm just going to fill in the table here. Okay. Go ahead and turn this on. We're going to start filling in we'll see how we did. This is definitely a full-on experiment, so I am not entirely sure how this is going to turn out, how well it's going to turn out. If it's going to be a big old mess, or if it's going to be really cool, or if it's going to be somewhere in between. I really don't know. Actually alternating my outlines here. I'll make sure the dark areas get light outlines and the light areas get dark outlines. Alright. So I don't want to cover anything up. Okay. Really cover this up fast here. I'm gonna crank off my griddle for 2 seconds because I got to get more batter. ridiculous. Making a mess, spilling batter. That's what happens when you get in a rush. Okay. Now I can properly cover this up. Okay. And turn our griddle back on, just low temperature, and let that cook for a second here. Hey, it's Bobby in the shop. How you doing, Bobby? Showed up just the right time. I'm about to flip a pancake here in a second. Just let this cook through. I got a little overzealous with the going over the top there. But that's all right. Trying to keep those. And we do a request stream on Sunday, Nicole. So you're more than welcome to hop in on Sunday and get a Billie Eilish. I got one more pancake I'm going to do after this. Of a very special Komodo dragon named Batman. A tribute. Well, this backing did not cook as much as the rest of it. So if I'm not scuffing up the front of this too much here. This might make a little bit of a mess when I flip it over, because the back is not cooked all the way through, but I know the front is definitely ready to flip. So you might see or hear a splat here. So, all right, so we're switch to our overhead. There we go. All right, so here we go. Neat. That is interesting. Some of that worked kind of how I expected, some of it didn't. I was definitely happy with that though. Thanks. Let that cook on the ice side a little bit, and then I'm going to get this reference pulled up for our final pancake and send that to the tablet over here so my old eyes can see it better. Sure I'm on the right one. Yep. Okay. Hit that backup button. Uploading, uploading. Uploaded. So now that should be on the tablet. There it is. Okay. Turn this off. We will plate this guy. The cool griddle, and we'll head on to the next one. Very nice. I hope you're in your basement because you want to be in your basement and not because you need to be in your basement for any particular reason. Living in St. Louis, I'm extremely familiar with being in my basement for reasons that I'd rather not be. All right. So there we go. Got a still life of some fruit melting as it does, because that's the thing. So I'm gonna pop this off, and I'm gonna get the cooled down griddle so I can get started right away on this one. So few of these, so definitely don't think it's going to take nearly as long as the other ones. Alright, I'm going to switch to the overhead so I can make sure I got all this lined up. Alright. Facebook feed is down. Oh. It's that darn 2-hour time limit. Kick back on. I was thinking about it real hard. Uh-oh, the browser stopped responding. Sorry guys, just 1 second. I'm just seeing what's happening to our Facebook stream over here. Apparently it decided to die on us. If Restream will let me log in. What is happening here? Okay. I'll be back into Restream. Facebook is unchecked. Now it's checked. Sending data. And it's connected. All right. Facebook is back. So I'm going to step back over here in front of the camera. So any Facebookers that are just showing up, my bad. Sorry about that. So before I start this last one here, let's see. All right. So we got our reference. And zoom in as much as it'll let me here. All right. Here we go. 1 Batman. So I'm going to do this slightly more, I say less complicated style, but I definitely one that takes a little less brain power because I'm going to use hard lines to do it. So it'll be more of like a vector, which help me keep track of everything. So after those two, last two where there's no line work, it's all just my brain. It's not as sharp. All right. Oh, Halloween or Christmas? Ooh. See, because it's a hard question. I guess I mean, Halloween is definitely the least stressful of the two. Like, there's no family or anything to deal with. Like, I mean, I love my family. No, not, but like, you know, there's the, if you have to travel, which obviously isn't happening this year, or, and just having to, like, if you've got a partner and you've got to, you know, go from one family to the other, or in my instance, my partner's family lives on the other side of the country. So we have to decide, are we going to go to New York for Thanksgiving, or are we going to go to, we're going to go to Illinois. So, whereas Halloween, it's just, you're here, get a cool costume, eat some candy. So yeah, so I think I'm going to go with Halloween, simply because it is a far less stressful holiday. So I take it, well, since we're back on Facebook, but I guess the Facebook chat isn't popping into the consolidated chat, unfortunately, which seems to be a problem. If one of the streams dies on us, it doesn't seem to come back in the chat properly, which is unfortunate, but the fact that we're able to stream on 4 platforms at a time and even have some sort of consolidated chat at all, I guess, is pretty fancy enough. So, can't be perfect. Okay. What I want to do, I didn't really have like a, just out of habit, I guess, I gave him kind of an upturned bottom lip, like he had almost like a smile. Not quite. Didn't mean he wasn't happy. Doesn't mean he wasn't smiling on the inside. He didn't have a grin on his face. What's everybody else think holiday wise? You Christmas folks, or you Halloween folks? So I definitely enjoy the Christmas sales. And definitely getting things, those alone can be stressful too, just because they make you think you missed out, but you're already on the website, like you're already in the mode, like I'm gonna buy stuff, and then like, oh shoot, I missed the deal, and you buy something anyways because you're already ready to buy something. I'm glad I'm doing a good job. I hope I know they're probably both sad and happy tears, and all right, got that. Scales are always interesting because you don't want to do too much, because then it becomes just so busy, especially with small scales like this. Like on a snake, like these really big defined scales, it's easier to do those. But with something like this, I almost don't want to do them because you can't get those little details in there the way they need to. So I may or may not keep those in there. I think getting the colors is probably more important than getting the scales in this instance. So I think that's what we're going to focus on. A little shine of light in the eyes there. Okay, so we're going to start with our highlights here. Just gonna find all the little zones where I can see the light shining. Okay. got that, and then got these little cool brown stripes on the back there, and it's also got wrinkles on his back because he's all arched up. So we want to make sure we get some of those in there. Just imply some highlights there to imply those wrinkles. Stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I think for the, trying to figure out the best way to do this. A lot of browns and stuff on them, and I make sure that I don't run out of browns, or at least have adequate substitutes in place. So, okay, so these 4 browns, so we're going to do these 2 is tails, little stripes back here. That, we're gonna do the other half, slightly lighter color. Okay, so got that. Then, let's see here. Ooh. So make sure we keep some separation between the top and the bottom here. So it's getting such a similar color that can be a little difficult sometimes, so get a little creative and put some blue for the shadows. Just so you got that contrast, not infringing on any colors as they exist. got all that. So let's figure out our shade down. So we're gonna do highlights like this. That. Okay. So if I've done everything correctly, all we should have to do is fill the rest of this in with this light brown. A little shadow underneath to show that he's on something and not just floating. Clogged again. Okay. Got that, and we're gonna do just a little bit of shadow and just standing there. So hopefully that comes across correct. Okay, I'm going to turn this guy on. Let that cook for a second before I start outlining it. Is eat tamales and chocolate. That sounds pretty fantastic. Normally for Halloween, Hank, our manager here, he has a big old Halloween party here at his house. And so we all dress up and hang around a fire, eat s'mores and gooey butter cake that Hank usually makes and whatever else anybody brings and candy and just all sorts of good stuff. We might watch a movie in the backyard, but none of that's happening. But that's been the norm for the last couple of years. Or that's the last few years, but as of now, this year not so much. I think I'm doing a whole lot of nothing for Halloween this year. I'm just gonna maybe stay at home and watch some bad horror movies with my partner, which is still pretty awesome. Okay. There's that. Hopefully we did a good job here. Hey, Sky Kid. Thanks, man. I'm just finishing up the last pancake. I'm gonna do the roundup and start cleaning up and go home and sleep. Going on hour 14 here in the studio. Been here since 7. I'm about to hit hour 14. I'm hour 13 in 51 minutes. All right. Here we go. Turn it this way just so I can flip it nice and easy. All right. So we're on the overhead. So here we go. We're gonna flip this. Very nice. I like that. That's kind of, the blue came out a little interesting, but I think it works. I hope that I did Batman justice. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. So I'm gonna just get these bottles out of the way here. And we're gonna do the final roundup. I'm sure would. I'm glad I could make this pancake for you. Sorry that the situation that brought this pancake to life exists. Set that to the side. And I'm gonna put Batman in the middle. Actually, I'm gonna do this way, actually. And then I'm gonna toss this other one in there. We did this earlier. This was a commission for a get out the vote effort, but it's worth putting in there because it's important right now. It's right around the corner. It's blowing my mind that it's just next Tuesday. Let's see. I can see most of it. All right, so I'm gonna switch to the wide over here, and all right. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. It was a little shorter than the last one, which is neither good nor bad. It just is. Hope you had fun, and we will. Sorry, I'm reading the chat, getting all distracted. That's good. Sounds like you gave him a pretty good time while I was here. So we'll be back on Sunday. I'll be back for the request stream on Sunday. That's at 2 to 4. So come in and hang out there, and then Monday, Dan will be doing the Joy of Pancakes at the 1 to 3. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I'm gonna clean up here and head on home. We'll see you next time.